in Penang came about because a lot of people were basically asking me where in Penang they can go and eat. Because sometimes, although Penang is famous for its hawker food, they want something different. They wanted somewhere maybe air-conditioned. They wanted somewhere that they didn't have to maybe sit by the roadside. So I could tell them, because I'm a food writer, about what's available in Penang. But because I was getting so many questions and SMSs and emails asking me about it, it suddenly occurred to me that actually there is no such book in the market. And that's when I started thinking about coming out with a book like that to promote our restaurants, because we really have some very good restaurants here. Well, it started because as a food writer, I was meeting a lot of restaurant owners, and going to meet them and tell them about the book and try out the food has been a real adventure. But not just that, it's also meant a lot of visits to the gym to keep my weight down. Eating is not all that fantastic when you have to do it day in and day out. But, luckily our restaurants are good, and I had a good time doing it.
Generally, what do you find the standard of the restaurant in Penang?
Generally, I would say, like hawker food, Penang cooks are very good. So they have a very good overall standard. Of course, like everything else, you've got some which are not so good, some which are exceptional. But overall, it's fantastic. And we should be really proud of it.
Okay, any suggestions that how to improve the restaurant industry in Penang?
One of the problems is people think that restaurant owners should pay for their advertising expensively because they think they make a lot of money, but they don't actually. Restaurant owners have a lot of overheads. They've got to pay for their premises, their utilities, their insurances, their staff, their air conditioning. They've got to adhere to a lot of different standards, whereas you don't get that in a normal hawker stall. So they actually deserve a lot more help, and we should be able to give them that with people like yourself, with this book, to publicize them, to pay them back for all their hard work.
Okay, that's more information that we need to.
So, actually, we come across certain restaurants really feels prompt to maintain their business. So, any suggestions that to this type of restaurant to improve themselves?
Well, obviously the main thing is, you know what Penang is like? People go to a restaurant because word of mouth alone will tell people how good or bad a place is. So the first thing you have to do is make sure your food is good. It's fresh, it's tasty, and it's not too expensive.
So, do you consider that the price in the restaurant in Penang is considered acceptable?
I think obviously we have some really silver service, 6-star resorts, very expensive places, and they deserve to charge a lot. But overall, I think we're very lucky that our food is good, but relatively cheap. You get KL people who come here and can't believe the sorts of prices that are charged. Our buffets, 50 to 80 ringgit, some of it's free flow, drink as much as you want. You won't get that in KL. So we're very lucky, and that's what I want to try and publicize.
So can you briefly introduce the most interesting part in your book?
Eating. The book itself is split into two parts, the Asian restaurants and the international restaurants. And one of the most interesting things I think people have commented about the book is not just the quality, but the fast facts panel. Because at a glance you can tell what category the restaurant is, how much you can roughly expect to spend, whether it takes credit cards or it's pork-free, or whether it's got takeaway or do catering, that kind of stuff. A lot of us, for instance, we like private rooms. So again, at a glance you can tell whether they have private rooms or not. So great dining in Penang is something that you'll probably want to refer to, even if you're a Penangite, or if you are not, you will still want it when you come and visit Penang, or even give it to friends and family from abroad or all over Malaysia, because it's informative, it's a souvenir, and it's actually at 28 ringgit very cheap. So please support our local restaurateurs. Thank you.